Hello students, today we are going to start the new chapter, transportation in animals and plants. Okay, so starting this chapter, come on, tell me first, what is essential for our life? Okay, क्या ज़रूरत है हमारे life के लिए? You will say the answer what? Ma'am, air, ma'am, water, ma'am, food. Okay, it is okay, yes, these are essential things for which we need for our life to run, isn't it? And we have studied also, isn't it? So you take the air, it goes into the lungs, okay? You take the food, it gets digested in the small intestine. And then what happens? If it is there only, will it work? I don't think so, isn't it? So for that there is a proper channel which brings the air to the respective position, brings oxygen to the respective position where it is required, takes the digested food to the different parts of the body, isn't it? And that channel is known as a whole, is known as what? Circulatory system. Okay? It is not only that the digested food and the air which we are taking from the lungs, it is being taken from the circulatory system, from the small intestine, the digested food is taken, okay, to all over the body, okay. But yes, there is one more channel from which, what happened? After respiration, taking in oxygen, what happens? You give out carbon dioxide, na? It means you are just removing that waste from your body, isn't it? Then comes the, what happens to the other things like the urea and all which is being produced in the liver. It is also excreted, which is toxic in nature, isn't it? So there is another channel for that to remove the waste materials from the body. And that is what? The excretory system. So basically, two channels we will be studying in transportation in animals, that is circulatory system and excretory system. Okay. Now, coming to circulatory system, okay. This is a vast term, a proper big channel. So it consists of what? It consists of blood, okay, blood vessels, heart and heartbeat. First come to blood. Okay, we say that we are taking in oxygen, okay, and from there what happened? It diffuses in the blood, reaches to what? The cells where it has to oxidize the food. We have studied in respiratory system, okay, like that in digestion. What happens? The end product, the digested food is being taken to all the cells of the body where it is required, okay. So here we can compare this lungs and this small intestine, like transportation. When we say in common, okay, we say that yes, we go by what? Airways, we go by railways, okay. So there is some arrival point over there, isn't it? Like that, here also arrival points are there, from where it is being taken, isn't it? Like the lungs for the oxygen, like the small intestine for the digested food, okay. And from there, these blood, they are acting as that what? The transport, which is taking the digested food or which is bringing the oxygen to the cells, removing the carbon dioxide, okay. So this blood, when we are saying, how does it do? Actually, it consists of plasma and some cells. This plasma is the liquid part of the blood, okay, and it consists in it the RBC, WBC and platelets, okay. RBC is the red blood cells, WBC is white blood cells and platelets. They all have different functions, okay. RBC carries oxygen, WBC helps in fighting against diseases, platelets gets clotted when the blood comes out, okay. So when we are talking about this blood, okay, what happens? Just cut your hand and see, don't cut it, okay. But whenever we see that the hand is cut, what happens? Blood comes out. From various different parts of the body, different amount of blood comes out. If suppose here it is cut, some blood will come. When here it is cut, more blood will come. Okay, so these are all what? The canals which are transporting the blood. Okay, in which the blood, I will not say transporting the blood, in which the blood is flowing. Okay, so these are known as what? Blood vessels, and they are also of different types, which we will be studying later on. Okay, now we have studied about blood, we have studied about blood vessels. Then comes heart. So what is the function of this heart actually? This heart is the main center from where the blood is coming and then it is going out to different parts of the body, and from the different parts of the body it is coming to heart, and then again it is being purified. Okay, so this we will be studying later, okay, in detail. Now, heartbeat. With the help of heartbeat only, with the pumping of the heart only, the blood is circulated throughout the body. Okay, excretory system when we are saying, okay, in short I am saying you here, what happens? You take in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. So which organ helps in giving out carbon dioxide? That is the lungs, isn't it? Likewise, number of waste materials are removed out through urine, isn't it? After digestion and after all the activities, metabolic activities in the body, what happens? In the liver you can see like urea is released, bile pigments are there, other worn out cells are also there. Okay, so how are these toxic substances removed? Actually they are also flowing through the blood only, isn't it? Here the impure blood consisting of these toxic materials are what? Filtered. Okay, and pure blood remains in the body, and the impure blood consisting of toxic substances comes out in the form of urine, and that which organ helps? That is the kidney. Okay, now let us study about the components of blood. Okay, what does this blood consist of actually? Okay, the main constituents of blood is what? Plasma. Okay, this is the fluid part of the blood. It is light yellow in color. Okay, or you can say the color of the egg. Okay, now it consists of number of small microcells also. That is the RBC, WBC and platelets. When we are saying RBC, it means the red blood cells. Okay, so these red blood cells, okay, actually this is the oxygen carrying cells. Why I am saying this is the oxygen carrying cells? It consists of a red pigment known as hemoglobin. Okay, this hemoglobin is responsible for carrying oxygen to different parts of the body. Okay, and here this hemoglobin only gives the red color of the blood which you see. Okay, and it carries what? Oxygen. Okay, apart from this, actually what happens in molluscans like snail, have you seen beta? You will see that red blood doesn't come out. Okay, you'll see some bluish color substance coming out. Actually in that the color of the blood is blue in color. Why? Because in them hemoglobin is not present. Instead of hemoglobin, what is present? Hemocyanin. That gives blue color to them. Okay, to their blood. Now coming WBC. WBC are white blood cells. It means they are not having any color. What is its function then? It fights with the germs which enter the body. Okay, any germs which is present inside the body, any irregularity due to the microorganism, this WBC is ready to fight and it destroys them, thereby keeping us what? Safe from diseases. Okay, now come platelets. Platelets, beta, whenever your hand is cut or anywhere it is cut, you see that some blood comes out and then it just solidifies, and that is only blood clotting. And which helps in blood clotting? Which part of the blood? The platelets helps in blood clotting. Now let us study about the blood vessels. Okay, they are of three types. What? Artery, vein and capillaries. Okay, when we are seeing, you can see the diagram on the board. The vein, this is what? Thin. This is artery is thick. Actually vein takes the blood from different cells of the body to where? The heart. Okay, this artery, what does it do? It pumps the blood from the heart to different parts of the body. Okay, so here you are seeing what? These veins, they are thin and this artery is thick. Actually what happens, in artery the blood flows with a great pressure, but in vein it doesn't. Okay, here in the vein there are valves. Okay, they are carrying the blood from the different parts of the body to the heart. So maybe due to anti-gravity and gravity, what happens? The blood may come back again. So in order to stop that, valves are present. Okay. Now, when we talk about artery and vein, this vein carries what? Deoxygenated blood. It means blood which doesn't consist of oxygen. Okay. Artery consists what? This carry what? The oxygenated blood. Okay. But there is one vein which carries what? Oxygenated blood, that is pulmonary vein. Okay, and artery, there is one artery also which carries deoxygenated blood, and that is pulmonary artery. Now, what happens from the heart? Okay, the artery takes the blood, okay, and it enters, and now you can see what happens when it reaches the cells where diffusion has to take place. As it is so thick, diffusion can't take place. So naturally it starts stretching, okay, and it stretches so much that it divides into fine capillaries, okay, fine tubes I will say, okay, so that what? The diffusion can take place easily, okay. So when it distributes, or we will say that it stretches and form small tubules, small canal-like structures, okay, they are known as what? Capillaries. It gets totally stretched, this artery, okay, totally it becomes thin so that diffusion can takes place, okay, and naturally it covers the different cells of the organ, and what happens there? Diffusion takes place, oxygen enters the cells, and what happens? The digested food, it acts, oxidizes, and what comes out? The carbon dioxide. Now that happens with vein also. Here also vein is seeing thin, but it also stretches to form fine capillaries, okay, fine tubes, okay, and as the result it takes the carbon dioxide which is produced after oxidation of the food. It is taken up by the capillaries, the vein capillaries of what? The vein. So capillaries of this artery are known as arterioles, and vein is known as what? Venules. Okay, and this now takes it to the where? Heart. Okay, and from heart it is pumped, okay, reaches the lungs, and then carbon dioxide is what? Given out. Okay, so now beta, one activity I'll say to you all, just hold your hand and with the thumb you press this nerve over here, okay. This is actually the artery, okay, near the thumb, below the thumb I will say, okay, and try to feel it, okay. You will see that yes, it is, you can feel the pulse, I will say. This is known as what? The pulse. Pulse is actually what? The pressure by which the blood is flowing in the artery, okay, and you can count it, okay. Normally you will be getting how much? 72 per minute, okay, and when you count it you will see it, but just keep patience and count it, and you can count the pulse and with what rate the blood is flowing in your body. So now students, let us study heart, the human heart. You can see the figure over here, isn't it? Now, here we can see first, let us start from this side, the pulmonary vein. This pulmonary vein brings the oxygenated blood from the lungs, okay. It means that blood which is consisting of oxygen, okay. It brings to where? The left atrium, okay. This is the left atrium, this is the left ventricle, okay. This is the right atrium and right ventricle. This heart, you can see what? It is separated by what? Septum, okay. This separation is done by what? Septum, okay. Now, if this separation is not there, what will happen? The oxygenated and deoxygenated blood will mix. Okay. Now, we are seeing this pure blood or oxygen consisting blood or oxygenated blood entering what? The left atrium. Okay. Here in the left atrium, as it enters, it creates pressure. And here also some valves are present. Okay. It opens and the blood flows into the left ventricle. And once the blood flows into the left ventricle, this valve gets closed. Okay. And here, from the left ventricle, you can see it is connected to what? Aorta, where the valves are present again. Okay. And from aorta, what happens? It reaches to different parts of the body. Okay. Forming the artery and the arterioles, I explained you right now within the blood vessels. Okay. So naturally it comes, okay, diffusion of all the gases takes place, diffusion through diffusion it takes, what happens, the food is oxidized and carbon dioxide comes out, enters the venules, and from the vein it again what reaches the, this main vein, that is known as what? Vena cava. Okay. And from here you can see this deoxygenated blood now enters what? Right atrium. Okay. Here also pressure is created. It goes down to the right ventricle. The valve gets closed. Okay. And from here again through the pulmonary artery. Okay. It reaches to where? The heart. Okay. And this is how the whole heart works. Now here I will like to say you heartbeat. Okay. Actually you are seeing pressure is being created in the left atrium and in the right atrium, then it opens and it comes over here. So what happens? The opening and the closing, okay, of the right atrium and the left atrium, okay, it creates what? Pressure, and you can hear the sound of what? Lub and dub, and that is nothing but the heartbeat. So I said to you that yes, this left atrium, this right atrium, naturally blood flows, okay, it closes, okay, here the valves are present, that also opens and closes, creating what? The heartbeat, which we are saying. Actually heartbeat is what? Heartbeat is just the contraction and the relaxation of the heart muscles, okay, with the rhythm, and that is known as what? Heartbeat. Okay, and that heartbeat you can hear like lub and dub. Okay, how does this, you can measure this heartbeat? How can you see the heartbeat? Okay, when you put your hands also you feel it, isn't it? But how can it be calculated? Naturally it can be seen or it can be observed with the help of stethoscope. Okay, and here you will see the pulse also. Pulse is also related to the heartbeat only. Okay, according to the beat of the heart only you can just count your pulse also. Okay, it is related to heartbeat only. Okay, blood pressure also can be measured with sphygmomanometer. Okay, and it is a blood pressure machine only. Now beta, we have studied about the human heart. Okay, and heart is present in different animals also, the birds, the reptiles and all. But what about the smaller animals? Okay, heart is present in all, whether it is fish, whether they are human beings, birds, okay, and this frog, they all have heart. But what about the microorganisms like hydra, sponges and all? These are very small, but they are also animals. In that, heart is not present. Okay, in their body surface only acts as what? Their transportation mode, because here only diffusion takes place. Okay, now let us study about the excretory system in animal. Okay, basically here we are studying what? Human excretory system. Okay, it consists of what? Kidneys. Kidneys are what? Bean shaped. Okay, here what happens? From the blood vessels, okay, what comes? The impure blood comes, okay, which consists of toxic materials like urea. Okay, and what happens? They enter these kidneys. In kidneys also certain organs are present, certain structures are present which helps in water filtering this impure blood, okay, consisting of toxic material. After filtering it, what happens? Now the pure blood is sent to the body, but the waste, okay, which consists of mainly water plus the toxic substances, okay, they pass on through the ureter and gets collected in where? Urinary bladder. Okay, I am saying it gets collected. It means what? Here collection is done. It is not a fast process, it is a slow process. Okay, when certain considerable amount of urine is collected over here, okay, what happens is it passes through the urethra, which has got an opening to outside. Okay, so here when we are seeing this urine when we see what it is, it consists of what? 95% of water. Okay, 2.5% of urea and 2.5% of other waste. Okay, now when we talk about any normal human being, they pass about 1 to 1.8 liter of urine in 24 hours. Okay, this is about the human excretory system. Okay, so this way the toxic materials which are produced in the body, okay, after oxidizing the food, the digested food, okay, is given out by this process in which kidney participates in purifying the blood. Okay, and one more excretion is done by the nose, and that is what? The carbon dioxide, which I said to you earlier. So this was for the human beings. But what about the animals which are in the water, aquatic animals? Actually they secrete out ammonia. Okay, so in ammonia they directly secrete out in the water with the help of the process of diffusion. Okay, now talking about those animals which conserves the water inside the body, like the lizards and the snakes. Okay, they secrete what? Uric acid. Okay, their excretion is very in small amount. Okay, so this is all about the circulatory system and excretory system, which are the transport system in case of what? The animals. Okay, in the next video beta we will be studying about transportation in case of plants. Okay, how the food and water is transported in the plants and how the waste is removed out. Hope you might have understood it. Good day. Take care.